Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Apostle Dial Car once again for FTL Father Lamp Camp. And this is part 2, all right, which is called King David is Alive. This is a series of quick hits, all right, to properly educate the flock of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to, we'll get into reincarnation being real, but it is a reality. And we're just dealing primarily with King David being alive because there's certain Pharisee camps that have been teaching that King David is a man named Masha that died in the early 90s, essentially missing all the big prophecies of the scriptures, which is the furthest thing from the truth, according to the precepts, not because of me or anybody else. So without further ado, call Halaimla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakwadash. Sincere honors and love go to the sincere brothers teaching this truth across the four corners. All right, and all truth, sincerity, humility, and diligence. And also much love and shalom to you sincere sisters out there and you sincere brothers out there that's learning. All right, Khan Yasharala, man. The Hebrew Israelites were on the rise, and Esau and his wicked kingdom and these heathens, they're on the downfall. So, as you can see here at the bottom of the screen, these are the precepts we're dealing with. I'm going to keep this real easy. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I don't want to do an hour-long video because Jake don't like watching nothing but 5 minutes of the video. So, the first precept, just to get out the way, to not to necessarily get out the way, but to set the premise of what we're reading, is going to be Zechariah 13:8. So I'm going to get to that right now. And Zechariah 13:8 is as reads, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. This is talking about Jacob's trouble, when shit ultimately is hitting the fan, okay? And 2/3, which are the wicked, unfaithful, unrighteous, unsincere Hebrew Israelites, they're going to get cut off and die, and 1/3 is going to be saved. Very, very similar, because there's nothing new under the sun. This is very similar to the first Exodus, in the first Egypt. We're in the spiritual second Egypt and Sodom, Mystery Babylon, the Great Babylon, or Babal, which is America. Okay, so 2/3 are going to be destroyed fairly soon, and we're in the midst of that right now. We're seeing these people get shot up and these different situations happening. Okay, these are the beginnings of Jacob's trouble. Now, when this economy collapses and there's no food in the grocery stores, and you got to take the MOTB, when you got to take the MOTB Capri Sun, the liquid version, and you got to take the grain of rice MOTB, the chip, then we're going to be smack dab in the midst of it, when there's martial law and mass chaos and murdering and raping, robbing, and pillaging and purging. And, they'll be rolling out, extermination laws if you don't want to take the mark of the beast. This will be the fullness of Jacob's trouble. Okay, so from there, we're going to get Daniel 12, because this precept is also an excerpt. All right, so Daniel 12, and Daniel 12 a month, Salakia, and at that time shall Michael stand up. So Archangel Michael is the chief angel, the general under Malak Shal Malachiam, or King of Kings, Yahushai. All right, and he's tasked with protecting the 1/3. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time. See that? That time? And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. This is the book that you have to be written in. This is the book of life, man. So either you're written as a 2/3 or you're written as a 1/3. So only the 1/3 are going to be saved. Okay. And so, a lot of people don't realize that, their life is pretty much at the end of the road already. All right. And Esau is just waiting for the perfect time on the left hand side. This is all being orchestrated by the Lord. All right. But Esau is waiting for the perfect time, and he's bringing about this gumbo of calamity. Okay. The faithless and the wicked, and those that didn't want to, come to the Lord and to our customs and heritage and abandon the ways of the heathen, they're going to be ultimately destroyed, man. They're not even going to get a shot. And these are the scriptures, man. All right. And the scriptures are 1,000,000,000,000,000% accurate and true, period. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get Jeremiah 30, which is the point of the lesson now. So we have that premise of Jacob's trouble. So now we're getting Jeremiah 30, verse 7 through 11. Okay, and at opening up, we see that the setting takes place within Jacob's trouble. All right, dealing with King David. Alas, this is Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, and he shall be saved out of it. So the Hebrew Israelites, the 1/3, will be saved out of it. And we know that that day is talking about Jacob's trouble. Continue on to the next verse. For it shall come to pass that in that day, what is that day? It's talking about Jacob's trouble. We know common English, man. So we're not going to let any camps, we're going to let any men try to confuse this thing, man, and scripture twist. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So during Jacob's trouble, that's essentially us being free from captivity. Okay, because we're not doing anything for money, we're not working, we're not trying to stay in their living quarters or their cities. We're as pilgrims. Okay, so we are essentially free. We have no luxuries, we have nowhere to go. So we'll be in the wilderness. Abaratazah, we are all of that number. All right. But they shall serve the Lord their power. So in the midst of Jacob's trouble and in the wilderness, we shall serve Yahweh Yahushai, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So during Jacob's trouble, during us fleeing into the wilderness, living as pilgrims, okay, trying to stay out the way of the wicked, and the 2/3 Hebrew Israelites are dying left and right. The remnant, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites, okay, they will be serving and worshiping Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and serving David, their king, who he will raise up unto us during these times, man. And we're at those times now, so these things are starting to happen in front of our very eyes, if brothers and sisters have ears to hear and eyes to see. And this is why, this truth is coming out, and people are speaking up against these wicked Pharisee, Sadducee, and scribe camps, because they didn't have 144% truth. They just had a lot of truth. Verse 10, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, speaking of the Hebrew Israelites, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. Okay, so this is the southern and the northern tribes. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Okay, so the land of their captivity is America. This is where the northern and southern tribes have been gathered. All right. And the Lord is going to save us from afar. We're afar from our homeland. We've been scattered across the four corners, but this is the place of deliverance. Mystery Babylon the Great, America. All right, the great whore. I will save thee from afar and thy seed from the land of their captivity, which is here, America. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So return means that during us being in the wilderness and Jacob's trouble, essentially we are going to return back to our homeland, Israel. Okay. Verse 11, for I am with thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Yahushai, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee. So all these nations are going to be destroyed, because we've been scattered through every single nation on the planet, even Russia. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. He's not going to make a full end of us, because he's going to allow 1/3 remnant to pass through the fire, to pass through these troublesome times, these fearful times, and there'll be nothing like it ever on the planet since the beginning of any nation. Yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure. He's going to correct us in measure, meaning that he's going to take out his anger and wrath and displeasure out on the 2/3. 2/3 don't want to hear the scriptures, don't want to learn the scriptures, don't want to follow the 10 commandments. They don't want to do anything to do with the Lord. They're heathens. They pledge to the heathen. They worship the heathen. They do heathen things. And the Lord's going to treat them just as the heathen, man. And they don't realize that we're at the end right now. And they're facing sudden death. If they're lucky, it'll be a sudden death. A lot of them are going to be led to take the mark of the beast. All right. Yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So they're going to get punished, and the 1/3 Abaratazah of that number, we're going to be redeemed and shown a great mercy, which will be way bigger than the mercy and redemption that we read about in the book of Exodus. That's the video. I pray it was edifying. Shalom, 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 babal, babal, bawala, adaram, y'all.